Hi, I'm Dan Marocca for fish&fly I'm at Orlando Outfitters with owner TJ Bettis, and he's teaching me how to, what are you teaching me exactly today?
How to tie a fly.
All right, let's do it. Show me what you're starting with.
To tie a modified version of a Chico's river shrimp. Starting off with a curved hook here. It's a Mustad C47 SD, kind of a shrimp style hook. It's got a pretty wide gap to it. It's a short shank hook.
And you said the process is pretty easy, just take maybe just about 5 minutes.
And start the thread on there.
When did you first learn how to do this process?
This particular fly I've been tying for a couple of years. I've been tying flies 10, 15 years. Quite a while. Wrap back. See, just below the barb. Going to take a little bit of craft fur. Doesn't need that much. I'm going to bring the thread back to just below the barb. I'm going to tie in the chenille. I'm going to tie it in with the leftover part facing towards the eye of the hook. So there's no tag end hanging out the back. Should I go back to the tie-in point? I'm going to wrap the chenille down up to just a little ways behind the eye. I like to go. I'm going to put a half hitch in here so that I can use the rotary function on my vise. Get this fly out of the way. I can drape that over here. And I'm just going to spin the vise around and wrap my chenille up the hook shank. And I'll take this thread, drop it over the other side of the hook. Do that once, twice, and that's not going anywhere. So now I can trim off the extra chenille. Do 1, 2, 3 wraps, get that tight in there. Okay, take a little bit of craft fur. I'll pull off the thin under fur there. It's about 2 hook shanks back from the tie-in point, hook shank lengths. Tie that in, trim it off. And I've got it tied in right at the back where the chenille is. This is actual deer body here. If you look, there's the you can see the deer skin.
Okay.
And nothing else performs quite like deer hair.
And why is that?
As you'll see, it actually flares and wraps around the hook. It also has some flotation properties to it. I don't want this fly to float, but I do want it to parachute down fairly softly. And one neat thing about this is you can cast this fly within a foot of a tailing redfish, and it hits softly enough that the fish doesn't know it's there.
Is that right? So is that this particular fly for what type of fish?
It's ideal for redfish.
Okay.
That's what I generally use it for. It'd probably work for bones, and I've caught tarpon on it, little tarpon. But reds or whatever I like to go after with it. I'm going to measure this. I want this to be about this far out the back here. I'm going to trim the front a little bit short. I'll show you why in a second. So as I wrap this tight over, it's going to flare up. So that since these fibers are hollow, when you tighten over them, they actually kick up on the ends. And I'm going to do something that is done more in tying dry flies and tying saltwater flies, and actually post this. I'm going to drop this around behind both the bucktail and the craft fur. Drop it around again one more time, and then I'm going to wrap around the entire mess of materials I've got here. Take a little more of this deer hair. And the first one I didn't do this because I didn't use the tip part, but I'm going to actually comb the underfur out of this. There's a little bit of underfur that sits right up against the skin.
And the reason you're taking that off?
It'll soak up some water. It's just easier to tie without it. It's a lot cleaner. I'm going to cut the tips off on this one. So I ended up with a shorter section of deer hair. I'm going to put this on the underneath side of the fly, which is on top of the hook actually. I'm going to give it one loose wrap around, 2 wraps, and then right here I'm going to let everything slide and it'll actually spin around the hook shank. I'm going to use a whip finish tool to the final knot right behind this bead shank. So I'm going to walk this thread back. That looked a little too long. I'm going to walk it back up. That should be about right. And the trick here is to pull the materials back out of the way so you can actually get the thread in there without tying materials down facing forward. So I'm using my fingers to pull the materials back, kind of forming a triangle with my thumb, pointer finger, and middle finger. Wrap this around 5 or 6 times, pop it off, and draw it tight. And now we have a hairball, which will soon start looking more like a fly. The first thing we're going to do is trim the bottom. I'm going to trim that fairly close. I want this fly to ride with the hook point up. So if I have too much material down here, it's going to tend to parachute up this way. I want it to turn over when it hits the water. Okay, so that's what the profile is going to look like. One more thing I'm going to do here is to give it some barring. Just break up the fly a little bit. Make it what I hope is more appealing to the fish.
Okay. And why is that more appealing to the fish?
Well, if you look at a lot of crustaceans, honestly, I can't give you a perfect answer on that. But if you look at a lot of crustaceans, they'll have barring on them.
Okay.
And it seems to work well.
Okay.
It may be more for the angler than for the
sure.
For the fish.
Well, and it looks great.
They look good. They work well. And this fly right here will the deer hair sticking up will act as a weed guard.
Mm-hmm.
So this one will snake right through the grass without getting snagged. It'll ride hook point up, get through the grass, land real quietly. It's great fly for shallow water in the flats.
Great. Wow, you made that look real easy. TJ Bettis, owner of Orlando Outfitters. Appreciate your time and showing me how it was done.